No one noticed him when the ship landed. The spaceport of Oryx Prime was full of noise, aliens from hundreds of worlds, floating lights, security drones, and heavy cargo ships. In all that chaos, Ethan Cole looked small. Just another human in a dark jacket, standing quietly near the wall. Humans were not respected here. They were known as weak, short-lived, and loud. Most races believed humans survived only because stronger species allowed them to. Ethan had heard those words many times, spoken openly in alien tongues. He did not react. He was here for one reason only. The Council trial. Every 10 cycles, the Galactic Council tested young leaders from different races. Whoever passed would earn protection, power, and control over trade routes. Today, one human was allowed to attend, for the first time in history. Ethan. Inside the hall, massive beings took their seats. Tall crystal beings. Scaled warriors. Machines with glowing minds. And at the center, the High Observer, floating above the floor. Ethan walked forward alone. Whispers followed him. A human. They allowed a human. This will be short. Ethan stopped at the center platform. His face was calm. His eyes were steady. He had learned long ago that fear was useless. Across the hall stood Princess Lyra of Velmora. She was not human. Her race was ancient and powerful, known for reading energy and symbols left by the universe itself. Lyra had silver eyes and long white hair that floated slightly, as if touched by invisible wind. She looked bored. Until she saw him. Not his face. Not his walk. His arm. Ethan raised his hand to activate the trial console. As his sleeve slid back slightly, a black symbol appeared on his forearm. It looked burned into his skin, sharp lines, ancient curves, and a shape that felt wrong. Lyra froze, her breath stopped. Her heart raced. She knew that symbol. Every child of Velmora was taught one forbidden legend. A story so dangerous it was never written, only whispered. The mark of the first flame. The symbol of a species that once challenged the universe itself. A species that disappeared after a great war. A species that was not supposed to exist anymore. Her eyes locked onto Ethan's arm. No, she whispered. The High Observer spoke loudly, breaking the silence. Trial candidate Ethan Cole. Species, human. You may begin. Ethan placed his hand on the console. A blue light scanned him from head to toe. Warning, the system said. Power readings, unstable. Laughter spread across the room. Ethan ignored it. The first test began. A holographic battlefield formed around him. Creatures made of light attacked from every side, fast, sharp, deadly. Many strong species had failed this test. Ethan moved. Not fast. Not flashy. He moved smart. He used the environment. He waited. He watched patterns. When the moment came, he struck once, clean and perfect. The creatures vanished. Silence filled the hall. The High Observer tilted slightly. Unusual efficiency. Lyra was no longer watching the test. She was watching him. Her people could sense truth through symbols. And that mark on his arm was not decoration. It was not technology. It was inheritance. The second test began immediately. Mental pressure. Fear. Memories. Many candidates screamed. Some collapsed. Ethan stood still. Inside his mind, he remembered Earth. War. Loss. Fire in the sky. Humanity standing alone when no one came to help. He did not break. The pressure shattered instead. Gasps echoed. The High Observer paused. Impossible. That was when it happened. Lyra moved. Before anyone could stop her, she stepped down from her royal platform and walked straight toward Ethan. Guards raised weapons, confused. She ignored them. Ethan turned as she stopped in front of him. Their eyes met. For a moment, time felt slow. Lyra reached out and gently pulled back his sleeve. The symbol was fully visible now. The hall went silent. Some aliens stepped back in fear. Others felt something ancient awaken inside them. Lyra dropped to her knees. Then, to the shock of the entire Galactic Council, she kissed his arm, directly on the symbol. A deep vibration rolled through the hall. Lights flickered. The High Observer shouted, "Princess! What are you doing?" Lyra stood slowly, her voice shaking, but strong. "You have made a mistake," she said, pointing at Ethan. "This is not a weak species." She turned to the council. "This is a sleeping flame." Ethan looked at her, confused. "I don't understand." Lyra met his eyes. "Neither did the universe," she replied softly. "Until now." Alarms suddenly blared. Ancient systems awakened. The trial console displayed a message in a language no one had seen in millions of years. First flame detected. Ethan's arm burned with heat, but he did not scream. Instead, he felt something else. Something waking up. And far beyond the stars. Something had noticed him, the hall was still shaking. Lights flickered above the Galactic Council chamber as ancient systems woke from a long sleep. Symbols appeared in the air, old, glowing words that no one could read. No one except Lyra. Her face had turned pale. Her silver eyes reflected fear, respect, and something close to hope. Ethan slowly lowered his arm. The burning feeling faded, but the symbol remained dark and alive, like it was breathing. "What is happening?" Ethan asked quietly. The High Observer floated higher, clearly disturbed. "Security, contain the human." Drones moved forward. Lyra stepped in front of Ethan without thinking. "No," she said firmly. "If you touch him, you will doom us all." The drones stopped, the High Observer studied her. "Explain yourself, Princess of Velmora." Lyra took a deep breath. "Very well. I will tell the truth your records erased." She turned to the council. Long before this galaxy was divided into races and empires, there was one species that stood above all others, not by strength alone, but by will. She looked at Ethan. They were called the First Flame. Murmurs spread through the chamber. "That is a myth," one elder said. "A warning story." Lyra nodded. "That is what survivors call history they fear." She raised her hand, and a projection appeared, stars burning, fleets clashing, worlds breaking. The First Flame were builders and destroyers. They learned faster than any species. They adapted. They refused to kneel. When the galaxy tried to control them, they fought back. Ethan watched in silence. Lyra continued, "They were nearly wiped out. Their cities burned. Their fleets were erased. The survivors made a choice. The image changed. A small blue planet appeared. They hid. They sealed their memory. They limited themselves. They became human." The chamber exploded with noise. "That is impossible. Humans are weak. They die too fast." Lyra's voice cut through them. "They die fast because they burn bright." She pointed at Ethan's arm. "The symbol is a lock. Not a weapon. A promise. When a human faces the galaxy, and chooses to stand, the flame wakes." Ethan felt his chest tighten. "My people don't know this," he said. Lyra smiled sadly. "That was the point." The High Observer's voice was cold. "Even if this is true, one human means nothing." Before Lyra could answer, the chamber doors exploded inward. Black-armored figures stormed inside, tall, sharp, and moving like shadows. Their eyes glowed red. Ethan felt the air turn heavy. Lyra whispered, "The void consumed. An ancient enemy. They had once nearly destroyed the first flame." Their leader stepped forward. "We felt it," the creature said. "The fire lives." Panic spread. Council guards fired. Energy weapons hit the attackers, and passed through them like smoke. "They adapted," Lyra whispered. "Just like before." One void soldier struck a guard, tearing through armor easily. Screams echoed. Ethan moved. He did not think. His body reacted. He grabbed a fallen weapon. It felt light in his hands, like it belonged there. As a void soldier rushed him, Ethan aimed, not at the body, but at the energy core behind it. He fired. The creature screamed and collapsed, dissolving into ash. Everyone froze. Ethan stared at the weapon, shocked. Lyra's eyes widened. "You didn't hesitate." "I saw the weakness," Ethan said. It felt obvious. The symbol on his arm pulsed once. The void leader snarled. "Kill him now." More attackers charged. Ethan stepped forward. Fear tried to rise, but something stronger crushed it. Resolve. He remembered Earth's wars. Humans standing with broken weapons against impossible odds. He remembered that humans never waited for permission to survive. He fired again. And again. Each shot was perfect. Guards followed his lead, copying his movements. Suddenly, the void were falling back. The leader roared in anger. "This changes nothing. The flame will burn, and then die." A flash of dark light filled the room. They vanished. Silence returned, broken only by damaged systems. The High Observer slowly descended. "The trial is suspended," it said. "The human will be detained." Lyra turned sharply. "No. He will be protected." The observer hesitated, something ancient in its systems warned it not to argue. "Very well," it said. "But the galaxy will react." Lyra faced Ethan. "You have been seen," she said softly. "There is no hiding now." Ethan looked around at the broken chamber, the frightened council, the empty space where enemies had stood. "What am I supposed to do?" he asked. Lyra smiled, not gently, but proudly. "What humans have always done," she said. "Stand up when no one else can." Far away, beyond known space, massive structures powered on. Old weapons woke. Old enemies listened. And on Earth, people began to dream of fire. The galaxy did not sleep. News of the symbol spread faster than light. Ancient races opened sealed archives. War fleets moved. Old enemies whispered one word in fear. Human. Ethan stood inside a guarded chamber on Oryx Prime. The walls were strong, but he did not feel trapped. His arm no longer burned, yet the symbol felt alive, like a quiet heartbeat. Lyra entered the room alone. "The council is divided," she said. "Some want you erased. Others want to kneel." Ethan looked at her. "What do you want?" Lyra answered without delay. "I want the truth to survive." She activated a star map. Red marks appeared, dozens of them. "The void consumed our waking old weapons," she said. "They fear you. That means they will attack Earth." Ethan's jaw tightened. "They won't reach it," he said. Lyra studied him. "You sound certain." "I'm human," Ethan replied. "We don't wait." A warning alarm filled the chamber. "Void fleet detected," the system announced. "Destination, Sol System." The council chamber reformed instantly. Leaders appeared on screens from across the galaxy. Fear was everywhere. "The humans cannot fight this. They have no fleets. This is extinction. Ethan stepped forward. You're wrong, he said calmly. The room quieted. You think humans are weak because you only saw us after we forgot who we were, Ethan continued. But even without memory, we survived plagues, wars, and our own mistakes. He raised his arm. The flame never died. It waited. The symbol flared bright for the first time. Across the galaxy, something answered. On Earth, power grids surged. Old satellites woke. Hidden systems buried deep beneath oceans and mountains came online. Human engineers stared in shock as screens filled with unknown code, yet they understood it instantly. It's like it knows us, one whispered. Lyra watched the data flood in. The locks are opening, she said. The High Observer spoke carefully. You planned this? Ethan shook his head. My ancestors did. A massive human fleet appeared on the star map, not newly built, but revealed. Ships hidden in folded space. Weapons designed to adapt mid-battle. The Void fleet slowed. For the first time in millions of years, they hesitated. The Void leader appeared on screen, its form twisting with rage. You were supposed to stay asleep. Ethan met its gaze. We tried that, he said. Didn't work. The battle began. Void weapons struck first. Human shields changed shape instantly, learning with every hit. Human ships moved unpredictably, using tactics no AI could predict. Lyra watched in awe. They're not following patterns, she said. Ethan nodded. We never did. A Void dreadnought broke through the line and aimed directly at Earth. Ethan closed his eyes. The symbol on his arm burned like a sun. Now, he whispered. One human ship moved forward alone. It did not fire. It rammed the dreadnought. Both ships vanished in a blast of light. Silence followed. Lyra's breath caught. They sacrificed themselves. Ethan opened his eyes. Humans always do, so others can live. The Void fleet began to retreat. But the leader stayed. You will burn yourselves out, it hissed. You always do. Ethan stepped closer to the screen. Maybe, he said. But while we burn, we light the way. He raised his arm one final time. Every human ship focused on the symbol. The flame was no longer locked to one man. It was shared. A wave of energy surged outward, not destruction, but command. The Void leader screamed as its form unraveled, unable to adapt fast enough. The enemy vanished. The war was over. Days later, the council reconvened. The galaxy was quiet. The High Observer spoke with a new tone. Humanity is hereby recognized as a guardian species. Ethan stood beside Lyra, looking at the stars. We don't want to rule, he said. We just won't be controlled. Lyra smiled. That is why the galaxy will follow you. She gently touched his arm, this time without fear. The symbol faded, no longer needed. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky, feeling stronger without knowing why. The first flame had returned. Not as conquerors, but as protectors. And this time, humanity remembered who they were.